In this video, you're going to see a live trading session that I did with my trading community. And the thing that makes this special is I just spoke whatever was in my head, I put it into words. So every little thought that I had, every little level that I was looking at, signs of strength, signs of weakness, why I was getting in here, why I was exiting there, and what needed to happen in order for me to hold a trade, or what needed to happen if I was going to cut the trade. This is going to be valuable insight for you if you are trying to learn how to trade, or maybe you're an experienced trader and you just want to get better at it. I know this video is going to help, so enjoy.
All right, let's go ahead and pull the trigger on this. I just bought them. I just got filled at 71 cents. If we start getting below this low again now, see how we're starting to claim this ground? How the bulls are starting to step back in. If this starts to get taken out, let's probably exit half the contracts. We should be seeing immediate bulls, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, working on 5 bear candles in a row at the extended channel, way oversold. It should be very easy for the bulls to come in here. So if the bulls don't come in strong, we want to start trimming things off. Still stuck at that 200 EMA, but we're finally getting a pretty strong buying candle coming through. We got a minute left. There we go. Getting up through that 200 EMA is a big deal. See how it's going to close, though. It's all about the close. How does it close? How do the bulls finish out? Let's look at a 3-minute real fast. We're at that 10 EMA right now on a 3 that's kind of holding us back. 5-minute needs to close above this red line right here. This 200 EMA. And I say that because it acted as such a strong support, and then it had such a strong rejection previously that we know it's an area that the bulls and bears are fighting over. So we want these bulls to close above it if at all possible. Doesn't look like they're going to do it. Last second pulled it out. Wasn't a great close, but they did barely close above it. So now it's, again, I think the next level is here. We're going to watch and see what it does. We're either going to hold after about 10 or 15 minutes. We're going to hit this and probably start rotating back down, and things could be in trouble. So there we go. We're already pushing up into that good level there. We were up 35%. Let's see how strong these bulls really are. Ideally, I want it to go to the top side of this down channel again. That would be the ideal play to take some profits. But I'm going to be patient here and let's just see what it does. I still think that we could work our way up into the 15-minute 10 EMA here before we start getting any selling, but it doesn't look great. Now it's just trading is just a waiting game, right? It's just about picking out your battles. This was the first battle here, it held. This was the second battle here. Time to be, we still have 3 minutes to see if this is going to close above. And then you just start picking out your next levels. Right here is going to be the next battle. We just got to see if they keep winning it or if they start losing those battles. If they start losing those battles in those areas, we start taking some profits. If they start winning those battles, we hold. And then we pick our next battle zone, which would be up here. And we just keep watching price action interact with those levels and see what happens. Very strong bull move through here. We can get a really good bull candle here. There's a chance we'll make our way to 640. And I'll be taking some profits off at 640. Very nice. We're up 57% now on our options. So that's looking good. 2 minutes left on this candle, though. There's a lot of time. It's looking great now, but they've got to close strong. With it taking up all this ground, they need to hold the ground in order to show strength, in my opinion. So, yeah. So far, this has worked out really nicely. We had an extended channel play down here. We ended up buying some calls right off of that and got filled at, what, 71 cents on those. Those calls are now up 60% on this bounce, and it's got to take out these zones here. Target's going to be up into this range here. 640 is a huge options level. So far, a minute left, and the bulls are really coming in. So we have an opportunity here if we can close strong. Again, I'll take something off probably in here, 1 or 2 contracts. But at least to make moves up into 641 and maybe even 643 is going to be the final target area. That's going to be the final battleground for today, I think. So first, we had it here. It looks like they're winning on that. Still time to tell. This is the next battleground here. So far, bulls are holding pretty good. We've got to wait 30 more seconds, though, to see how they close. And that's going to open the door for the next little area. We break through this. Now it's final testing ground to see where it's at. This is where I believe a lot of profits are going to get taken. So we've got to close strong here in 10 seconds. We don't want a long upper wick on this. We can have some upper wick is fine. But the less wick we have, the stronger the sentiment. This is a really, really important level. That's a great close. Fantastic. So now what's going to happen is we either keep running, which would be great, or we're going to come back down, and this old battleground now is going to be support. So that's what I'm looking at here, is just trying to see if this is going to hold, right? If they start to fail this again, then that would be weak. But if we can just keep cranking through here, again, I'll take profits because now I know a pullback's probably coming, and testing some other grounds to see if we'll start breaking out of some of these key levels and getting up into the final target zone there. Options are now up 70% on it, which is nice. We're starting to show some signs of hesitation. I don't mind working out of some contracts up here. Like, let's close out a 1 right here. All right, so I got filled on those at $1.10. It's a good return on that. So I'm out of one of my contracts here. The rest I want to get out here. Again, trading these options, I'm just not as patient. With shares, it's easy. We can just let it retest. It's a dollar for dollar. We pull back, we're going to be up 10%. So we're up 70% right now. We'll be up 10% on just a move to here, even though we bought it here. So our values get crushed. Now that I'm seeing it not really pushing through this battleground, I think there's a good chance we'll get a dip. There's always that probability it just runs. That's why I didn't close out of the whole position. But there's also that high probability that we're going to make moves down into here, and I just don't care to give up 50% of profits without taking something off. And I'm hoping that we'll just keep on running. So if this can just keep on screaming up to here, I'll probably exit another contract or so. It's a big deal. This is that 15-minute 10 EMA. That's always a big deal when it comes to trading these. So right here, this is where bears are probably going to be at. There's 3 minutes left on this candle. If we can close strong and put in a nice body engulfing here, that's setting the tone. Again, probably a pullback into this range makes sense. So I tell myself this ahead of time, so that way when the pullback comes, I'm not freaking out emotionally. I can just say, hey, it's normal. Pullbacks to here make a lot of sense. First things first, though, 2.5 minutes, this has got to close strong. If the bulls can continue to claim ground and close, now there's a very high probability that dips are going to continue to get bought up. And in fact, we could probably even look to add some more contracts through here if we can get some strong closures. So we'll just keep on playing this game here for right now until we can read sentiment and play it out. But this is 2 minutes left, so there's a lot of time left on this. But so far, so good. This is a big-time bear zone, so we're not out of the woods. But if the bears were going to be here, this is where they'd be. And so far, they're losing the battle, which is great. Starting to put in a little bit more weakness. Again, you can see where my alert is for this second target is right up through here. So we'll give this another minute and a half and just see where it's going. We want this to stay up here in this level. Just keep claiming ground. That's all we got to do is claim ground and close strong. And if we can do that, we should continue to take out the next levels and get to the next levels and then just prepare ourselves for pullback. This is a very large move up. So as long as we can keep those upper wicks off the table right now, dips should be very viable and pushing us back through. So I think we'll probably work our way to the bottom side of this channel again, and we should be finding some bulls to take us back up. So 45 seconds. I know these bulls are getting a little bit tired. That's why I took off one contract a little bit earlier. And it's just a matter of can they keep closing strong. 15-minute is looking really good. 20 seconds left, though, on it. We need the bulls to keep holding up above these levels because we want a full body engulfing candle on this 15. We don't want too big of a wick on this. So 10 seconds. Is weakness starting to come back through? Kind of looks like it. Yep. So it didn't close. It's not bad, but it's not amazing. And we're okay. Like, if it was amazing, if we would have just squeezed all the way up to here on this candle, then it's like, man, there's a very high chance we're going back to some key levels up here. There still is a very good chance. But right now, yes, we could run, but probably coming back into this range here for a pullback and then a bounce. I'm not sure I would dollar cost average this one here because we have such a good entry price here. It might just be time to buy another contract or so of a different strike. But yeah, you can see this 5 minutes started to get beat up pretty good. Like, that's not very bullish. The bulls claimed a lot of ground on this, and then they just failed to even hold any of it. But we knew the bulls were starting to get tired. That's why we took off one contract here. So we're still up 60% on it. Not bad. Its holding value is pretty good, actually, right now. And we're at a place right now where it's like we could be, like, if this 200 doesn't hold, we'll just exit for a win still. And that's the nice thing that we have now with getting such a great entry. And the keys with options, you've got to have great entries, right? No one's thinking about buying calls down here in this range. And that's why they were so cheap, right? Those calls were like $1.50 here, and we got them for 71 cents. Right? Like half off. And it didn't even move that much. The stock moved like 0.1%, and yet those options tanked 50%. Like, that's the difference between profit and not. That's the difference from buying calls up here and buying calls down here, and how much easier of a trade it is. Those people are up 20% right now. We're up 73%. That's a big deal. So we're back into this 15-minute 10 EMA. This is where the bulls couldn't hold before. So now we want to see if they can push through this. If they're failing to push through this again, it's honestly looking pretty good. If they fail to push through this again, then I think pullbacks are coming. So it might be worth taking off another contract or so if we start to fail up in here. Still 2.5 minutes left. I really want to get up into this range before I start taking off any more contracts because it's working. But we're not out of the woods by any means. So again, if we look at extended hours off here, it's a good candle. It wasn't great. I would have liked a full engulfing here. And we're not quite overbought yet on this, so we've got some room to run. 5 minutes getting a little bit tired. We need some strong closures above this inverted hammer here on a 5 minute. If it keeps rejecting, then that means, again, that dip's probably coming in, and it's like, who knows how big of a dip we'll get. I think it's just going to go to here, but try to be as patient as we can. But so far, bulls are still struggling in this area and slowing down, and so it might be worth taking off another contract. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. All right, I'm out of one more contract on that. Got filled at $1.17. Again, with options, I'm just not very patient. It needs to really claim ground, and if it's showing signs of hesitation, I've got to be quick on taking profits because moves lower, probably down into here, and it's like I give up 60% of the profits I have right now. Shares, it's fine. You can just be patient. It's easy. Move your stop up, let it do its thing. Time is not working against you. Whereas with these options on day trades that expire today, the same day expirations, time is not on your side, right? Make sure I post that in there. There we go. So I'm out of half of my contracts right now. It does kind of look like it wants to rotate back down. We can always get back into a few more contracts again on a retest, especially if it comes down in here to this 200 EMA again, where the battleground was previously. If it comes back into there, I don't mind adding some more contracts to see if this will bounce. The bulls are showing that they want to go. They're just tired. So dips should get bought. Doesn't mean they will. This thing could rotate back over, and if it does, we're going to have a small win. But in order to get the big wins, you've got to be able to hold through it. I've got to be willing to give up some money here and potentially just, turning this into a break even, if not kind of small win trade, in order for me to actually get the big winners. And we've hit the bottom on this thing. If there's a day to hold on and see if something's going to actually move and win big, it's today. We're in a great place on this. So bulls are extended. They're tired. We could go bullish at any time. But I also think that a pullback makes sense. So now it's just where. I believe that probably into this range here, like 638.95 area, is where I think we'll get some bulls. I'm not the biggest fan of all these upper wicks on a 15. I mean, this is right where the bear should be. We talked about this battleground earlier. So far, we beat the battleground here and here. This one is a little bit struggle. So now what's going to do is it's going to come down. It's going to grab some more strength, and we're going to come back and we'll test this one more time. I think there's a very high chance that we will test this battleground one more time through here. Probabilities. There's no guarantees. It's just probabilities, right? So let's find out what it wants to do. And I would love for the bulls just to go screaming through here. That'd be fantastic.
It's just probability wise, I'm leaning a lot more towards this area right now than I am here, but it's strong. And that's why we're not getting out of our position. We're just trimming some size off, locking in some profits when the markets are telling us to. If we would have just closed super strong through here right away, we'd still hold. But the fact that we're starting to get some rejections, we talked about this level before it even got there. We were prepared before it even got there, just like we're prepared for this level before it even gets there, and this level before it even gets there. We're not reacting. We're preparing. And that's the key, because your emotions are always going to go really high whenever you're just kind of like, I don't know, should I? And then you just see a big rejection here, or what you see a big drop here. You've got to be ahead of the game. And so if you can be prepared of like, okay, this is an area where I believe some selling is going to come in. This is an area where I believe some selling is going to come in. This was an area where selling should have come in, but the bulls conquered. So now it's just sitting back and seeing what price action does. Give it 10 to 15 minutes in each one of these areas. Just let it do its thing. We're still struggling off of this level here, but if we could close strong, I think we're moving up into this range there. And that should be a really nice play here, if it can do it. Bulls are holding out stronger than I expected, which is, it's nice. Still 2 minutes on this candle, so we're just going to let it close, see what it wants to do. But so far there is a pretty good chance that 641 to 643 might be happening today. That's the final battle zone for today. Again, it's also understanding what levels are realistic for the move, right? If I'm looking at this and being like, we're going to go to 655 today, we're going to make a 7% move on SPY. It's like, that's not realistic. Will it happen? Yeah, a few times a year, maybe. But the other, 300 something trading days that we're going to be having setups like this, it's not going to make those moves. So we're having our right expectations. We're going to take profits, and I'm okay. If this thing makes one of those moves, it's fine, because I'm going to play the probabilities. The probability is very high that we get to here. It's extremely low that we get to here. Could it happen? Yeah, it's not zero, but it's probably like a 3 to 5% chance of getting there. By the way, there's no guarantee we even get to here, right? But realistically, that's where it's sitting at right now. So bulls now are kind of sitting at strike 3. That's not great. We've already exited half. I'm now trying to decide if I want to open some more size up, take some more profits so that I can have even more size to get back in if we do pull back. Remember, this zone right here is where we'll probably pull back into. But before I make any decision, I have to wait for 30 seconds. Wait for this candle to close, because it doesn't look great now, but in 20 seconds, we could be up here. It completely changes the game. So I can't judge anything until the candles close. I can start getting some hints, right? I can go to a 3 minute. 3 minute looks like we've got a nice little pennant pattern kind of forming right now, which is a great sign. That's a resting pattern for it to go higher. So 3 minute actually looks pretty good. The 5 minute, not so great. That's a third upper wick now that the bulls have tried to claim ground and have failed. So now it's like we need to start getting closures up above this 50 EMA, this green line. 15 minute still has 5 minutes left on it. It looks to me again like we're going to come back and visit some of these areas. I'm just trying to decide if I want to add some size in on this or not. I think I'll probably add maybe one contract at this one and one contract here, and then I'll be back into my normal size. So we've taken off a couple contracts here on these day trading options. Luckily, it is early in the day, so we have plenty of time. But at the same time, too, do I want to add in out of the money? I might be looking at like the 641 strike calls. So they're a little bit cheaper. Now that we've gotten our bull sentiment here, bulls just keep buying this up, man. It's actually pretty strong. The fact that we haven't seen that selling yet, it's probably going to happen. But the fact that it's actually holding like it has is good. That's a good sign for bulls. If we can hold ground and go sideways, that's a pullback with time. That's fine. But this is not looking all that strong. So I haven't really had a whole lot of time to plan this one yet.
So I'm looking at this 50 EMA here to buy off of, add one more contract in, and I'm looking at the 641 strike calls to do that on. All right, so this will be about the place to add some. If not, the next line will be down here. This is really where I want to add. But this is probably where the bulls should be. So let's go ahead and add in one more contract here, the 641s. All right, so I bought some 641. I got filled on those at 58 cents. That's a good fill. All right, so I'm in on that. This is where your bulls should be. If not, they're probably heading back into here, and I'll add a few more contracts of those 641 strikes down there as well. So I'm just kind of legging in. So we took off profits here to open up some risk. I just added back in, and I'll add back in here to put me into my full size again to see if that wants to move. But man, I'm loving this wick coming through right now. So us adding some more size here allows us to take profits where we wanted to up in here, right? I didn't want to take 2 contracts off here. I wanted to take 1, but I wanted the other one up here. So now that we've added some size back in, we can afford to take off some profits here and still be in our normal size that back to the original plan, right? So far, good. We got a minute and a half left. If we can keep closing strong like this, we're looking great. That tells me we should be pushing up into this level here soon, as long as we close the way we're looking right now. We got a minute left, though. So let's just see if these bulls want to do anything. In 55 seconds, though, when we close, if we close like this, I'm going to take this buy the dip off the table. If we take out this buying power right away, that's not strong. Doesn't mean it can't bounce. I just don't want to be adding into this here. So, and that's only if this candle closes strong, right? If this candle kind of falls back apart and then comes back down, it's still not great, but I would add more here. If this candle closes strong, I don't want to add any more here. I'm in my size. I'll be good with it. So 22 seconds left, still hanging out. Looking at the 15-minute, we have 18 seconds left on this one. It's a high wave candle at the moment, so we're kind of ping-ponging between EMAs. And it's setting the tone. Right, 10 seconds left. We get below this, we're probably moving lower now. We get up above that, we should be home free and starting to push into some big levels. So now we've got our lines in the sand. We start getting below these levels here, it's probably time to take our profits and exit. And I should say a 5-minute candle close below that, because it can wick down. But these are our battlegrounds right now. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just mark them out in orange. So the battleground up there for the bulls is there. Battleground for the bears is there. These levels need to hold, right? For the bears, they need to hold down. For the bulls, these need to hold up. We can wick, and that's fine, or wick down and bounce, and that's fine. But really, we shouldn't get any 5-minute candle closures across this without paying attention to that strength, right? 5-minute candle close above that, I think bulls are really taking over, and we're going to set the tone and start seeing how high it can go, right? We'll just move to the next testing zone. 5-minute candle close below this, and I'm out. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely a ground for sure. It's more of this box here, and now this one is kind of like this box here, so it's the top side of this one. Yeah, but you're exactly right. This is an area where bulls should be holding. Just on a 15-minute, I feel like this had a little bit more cushion to go. Yeah. Yep, exactly. So now we're about to hit this 10 EMA on a 15, which again on day trades is just a big sentiment level. We got to start getting some closures above it now because the bears really took over. And if we can close back up above this 10 EMA on a 15-minute, it's going to show some really good signs again that bulls are trying to go. So you can see right now it's starting to reject off of it again, right to the penny. Because technically right now, like we're calling the bottom on this, the daily sentiment is very bullish. It just needs a pullback. That's why we're even looking bullish. But this sentiment is actually pretty strong to the bear side, and it makes sense for rotations to come back down. That's why I loved this trade so much, because if the bears don't step in, now you have a lot of bears trapped, and that's what's going to cause a big bull move. So far, momentum is looking pretty bullish.
But you'll notice, like for me, I'm not just going to sit around and be like, let's just see if this thing will bounce. Like, no, I'm setting my stops up. Again, I'm waiting for candle closures, but I'm setting my risk up a lot higher because the bears right now on a 15-minute and on a 5, they're in control. I'm trying to go against this because I believe the strength is starting to shift and they're going to give up control. But I'm not going to sit back and just be like, no, it'll bounce. It'll bounce. No, I'm not playing that game, right? If the bulls start to show weakness, now that we've claimed ground, if the bulls start to show weakness and we close below this, I'm out. I'll take my small win and I'll move on for the day. I want the big win. So in order to get the big win, like I could exit right now and my week would be hit for my goal's hit for the week right now. That's all I need right here is the money that we already have right now. But in order for me to get the big wins, I've got to be willing to hold out for some more. And we got such a great entry on this and it immediately worked. It's a green light trade. These are the ones that you should be trying to hold on to and be willing to give up some profits. Again, I'm not going to lose today. This is going to be a winning day. It's just, will it be a small winning day or a big winning day? That's a great scenario to be in, right? So huge gap up, trying to work its way into some big time bull levels here and see what happens when we get up into the big time option levels. Remember, 640 is a monstrous level. That might be the high of the day today. So if we start working our way up into here and it starts getting stuck, by the way, I will take some profits off on that. But if we start working our way up into here and it gets stuck for at least 15 or 20 minutes, I'm just going to exit. Because again, options, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have the luxury being like, let's see what happens in 4 hours. Because in 4 hours, I bought it down here. My break even will be here in 4 hours. Theta's hurting me. Right? I can't sit back and just see what happens because when I'm up 100% up here, give it 4 hours, I'll be up 10%. I don't have time as a luxury on this for sure. And so I need to just watch price action as close as I can. Sorry, I get this thing up. And just manage the trade according to what the charts are showing me right now. Not what I want, not what my P&L says, off of what the charts are showing. And right now, again, it's a lot of consolidation, which is not bad. It's not a bad thing. But it's at some point here soon, the faster we can start claiming some of this ground, the stronger we have potential for a move. Sideways is great, except for when time is not on your side, like right now. So it's early in the day. It's not going to hurt us. But these bulls do need to start claiming ground. And this neon little line right here, that's the 15-minute 10. And that's just, it's been the battleground. If we can get a close above that, we should see some strong pushes. Right now, they're losing. It is not holding at all like it needs to hold. And we're starting to actually get below some of this support. If it does it once, it's a trap. If it does it twice, it's just weak and we got to get out. We'll see if this ends up being a small losing day. We're going to wait for a 5-minute candle close on this first. We're still super profitable on these calls. We're fine. But this is not good. You don't want that taken out right away. That is not what we want. So now it's going down into that second buying area. I'm not buying the dip here anymore. And we just need to see if this will close. We've got 3.5 minutes. We got an eternity. But bulls are not doing their job at all. I think we're probably heading down into here. If we can get a close back up, that should be enough to start pushing us higher. But that's a big if. Again, bulls they're just not really acting as strong as they should. We're going to need to see some strong buying, good lower wicks coming through, and some more traps happening because bears now are starting to win. They need to get taken out quick if this is going to play through. It's trying. But you can also see how important it is just to wait for candle closures. That's why I love trading options because I don't have to have a hard stop in here. I can manage my risk through my size. I can only lose what I pay on them, right, guys? So waiting just to see how this plays out. If we end up getting a candle close across this, great. I'm out. I'll take my small win for the day. I'm really glad we took profits up here, and I'll just call it. If this can get bought up really hard, then I didn't get stopped out just to have it go to target. So it's a win-win in either situation, but it's a win-win because we got a great entry. And that's what's caused this to be an easier trade, right? There's way less stress involved when you get great entries. If you're chasing trades, it gets a little tough. So we are up 15% right now on our options. That's what I was talking about. We were up 70% here. We were up 15% here. See how much it just tanked off of the value of that on a little bit of a move down. That's why I'm not just sitting back with options and I'm like, well, it'll be fine. You lock in profits when you start seeing weakness. Because yes, I'm taking off some topside risk, but a lot of the times I can have it come back down and add into more size and get back in, but I was able to lock in profits here. So a minute and a half, bulls are trying. Man, they are trying. So they've got to keep following through though. See what this thing has in store. Minute left. If it closes like this, it's a good start, but a lot can happen in a minute. A lot of volume on this, by the way. There's a lot of bulls that just got stopped out. A lot of bears that just got in. And a lot of bears that just got in on a breakdown of this. So that means the door is open now that if this can bounce, it'll run. If it can bounce. It's a big if. But we've got a lot of volume happening right now. There's a lot of bears trying to defend this level right there. Wait and see what it wants to do here. 2 seconds. That is a great close. Great candle. So now we know if we even, I don't even need to wait for 5-minute candle closures. If this starts getting taken out, I'm going to go ahead and close it. I'll lock in my small win and I'll be happy for the day and I'll just move on. This should not be taken out. In fact, this orange line should act as a very strong support and we should be seeing bulls immediately go. Whenever you get traps, it should have immediate follow through. If we're not getting immediate follow through on the trap, then it's not a trap. It's weakness. Traps mean we come down, everybody gets in bearish, and then they're immediately wrong, and then all the bears start closing, which means they have to buy, which causes this to squeeze up higher. If we're not getting that, we got to be a little bit patient. But if we're not getting that and we're starting to take out this trap right away, I'm probably going to cut it. Like I'll just say, all right, sweet. Move on. The bulls did not do their job. They are losing. They're losing ground and they're not claiming new ground. And with options, again, I don't want to just wait and see what happens. If it starts to pull back, now I'm turning a winning trade into a losing trade. I don't want to do that. I've got enough sentiment right here to tell me to cut when I need to cut. So that's what I'm going to do right now is I've got my order out there. Bulls are not doing their job at all. It's coming down into that 200 EMA. We'll give it just a second here, but this is weak. This is kind of telling us what's actually going on. Bears are really taking over. Bulls did not do their job here. There it is. I'll give it 2 seconds to see if this will bounce off the. I might as well. Normally, if this 200 EMA wasn't just sitting right here, I'd already be out. Let's see what this thing does. I'm still profitable on it. I don't have to stress too much about it. We took our profits. Let's see if this will bounce up hard. If I didn't have the 200 EMA here, then I would just be out. Already got a lot of weakness, though. Okay. See if these bulls will step back in. Tell you what I will do. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of my adding position right now. Those are just barely under break even. Let's see if I can get it to break even here. I'm going to go ahead and close out of the 641 strike calls. Okay, I'm out of the break even ones. Out of the added ones. I got filled on those. There we go. So lost a few cents on those ones. About 7 cents or so. I'm good with. I don't want to have more size on this now. I wanted to have size on this coming down and a bounce back up. I'm already in my size over here. I've got enough on that. When the markets are not giving me what I want, and again, it could just be the markets messing around and trapping, and that's fine. I'm still in my size here. I just don't want more size on this. And if I can get out for break even on those, or close to it, I'll take it. For me, I'm always leaning more on just managing my risk. If the markets are not doing what I want them to do, I'm just going to keep managing my risk. I added some when it came through here. We broke it. I don't like that. Came back up and basically into the area where it was that we got in. I got out of the ad because I just don't really trust this. We need to see crazy strong bulls here. And at the moment, they're still not really following through. But yeah, on a normal day, if I didn't have this 200 EMA right underneath that, I would have just closed out of my position right there for the small win since we got in down here. Since I had the 200, I was like, I can afford to be patient. I'm still winning on it. 1 second. That's not a bad candle. It's not great. I would have liked a lot more buying coming through on that, but it's not bad. So now we've got kind of our new line in the sand, which would be through here. Again, if we're not really bouncing through here, I'm just going to close out. Doesn't mean that it can't bounce later on. It just means the options that we're in, I can't afford to wait and see what happens. Right? If this thing takes 3 hours, I got in here, my break even will be there. And then after that, a few more hours, my break even will be there. It's just, I'm just chasing time now and not getting anything out of it. I have all the risk and no reward. It needs to start moving quickly. Bulls need to start getting up above these levels very quickly. And if not, and we start working our way back up into here and it starts rejecting, I'll just close out of that. And like I said, my goal for the week will be hit just on that win. But this price action now is starting to I guess it's the easy way of saying it. It's starting to adjust my expectations. When we were cranking and the bulls are doing everything right, I was like, yes, we're going to here. Now that the bulls are starting to kind of show some weakness, I'm thinking we're probably just going to 640, that big options level, and that might be it. So unless I start getting crazy price action through here and like engulfing insane candles very quickly, and very quickly within the next 10 minutes closing above that, my expectations are now just being shifted. They're being shifted lower and lower. Because, bulls should be much stronger in this area. Yeah, bulls should be much stronger in this area. And so if they're not coming through, I just keep managing my expectations lower and lower and lower, and I'll just take my profits. We start getting below that, though, I'm out. We can't even beat the 10 EMA right now off of a trap. Remember, traps should be met by crazy supply. And it's not running. It's doing the opposite. But either way, it's going to be a pretty nice, profitable day for us, which is, it's like I said, it's a win-win. It's just either going to be a small win, which is still decent, or to be a huge win, which would be amazing. 2.5 minutes left. We just want to see how this plays out. Either way, it's going to be a good day. So normally this would be about the time where I just walk away from the computer. I kind of just put a conditional order to exit my position here, and then I just walk away and I just give it 30, 40 minutes and see what it wants to do. Again, bulls should be very strong right now. And they at least they have to be pretty strong right now, and they're not really wanting to do it. So I'm really happy with how we managed this trade, though. Right? It showed a lot of weakness here. First off, we got an amazing fill down here. Showed a lot of weakness. We exited half of our position. Came back down. We added some more. It tried to work. It was working great. Failed. Came back into break even. Exited our ad. We're still in our original position here for a pretty good profit. And this is just showing that it just doesn't want to go anywhere. Not saying that it won't bounce. It's just, it's showing me that it's not going to bounce anytime soon, and I don't have the time to wait around. I can set up another entry over here on some different options. Yeah, it's not great. What is this 15-minute looking like? 10 EMA is just, it's there, man. It is not looking all that good. All right. I am out. So, all out of the day trade calls for a small win today. So, again, it can bounce for sure, but it can also drop down to here. And now we are starting to fail some of these levels, and I don't have time with options. That's probably the worst thing about day trading options, is it needs to work. And it worked right away, and that's why we're up 70% in 15 minutes. But if it now starts to go, great. This is just too much weakness for me. We've claimed grounds. It tried to go. This is telling me there's a higher probability that we go sideways or down. And I just can't afford that. I don't want to turn a winning trade into a losing trade when I don't have to. So we've given it plenty of time. We've given it 20 minutes for the bulls to claim and hold this ground, and they've failed. They might do it in 45 minutes, but in 45 minutes, I'm losing out on a ton of profits. And again, the probability is we're probably heading back down into this range and that the bears are just taking over. So I'm happy with the way we managed that trade. It was a great win. I'll take that win because, again, we still made really good money. But it's not about the money. People base the trade off of the money. You've got to base it off of how you manage the trade. Where did you get in? We got in at a fantastic spot. We nearly called the bottom. It then worked right away, and then we let it work. Once the market started showing us that it wasn't really wanting to move anywhere, we started to take profits. Not because we were scared of giving something up, but because the markets were telling us that this is probably happening. Then when this happened, we expected bulls to come back through and take ground and show excitement. That's a better word for it, to show excitement. There was excitement once, excitement twice, and then once you take out the excitement buying, it's not worth it anymore. So with the lack of excitement from the bulls, I'm happy just to lock in the rest of my win. We got in here, took profits, got out there. Now we can just sit back and see what this thing is going to do. I still am leaning more bullish on this than anything, but it's probably going to take a lot longer than I want it to take. This is not going to be low. I shouldn't say not. This is a low probability that we'll get the rampaging bulls like I was hoping we'd get here. That's what you want on options. If you're going to day trade options, you need the crazy move right away. That's how you print money. Day trading options is not a game of, well, let's just kind of see what this thing, and then by the end of the day, it goes to here. That will kill you, day trading options. Shares? Sure. Doesn't matter. Day trading options, though, you've got to know when to cut, and you've got to know when to get in. And you've got to have a good understanding of, is the momentum still there? We held the momentum all the way through here until we started taking this out. And you can, if you go back and rewatch this, you can easily see when my perspective of all of this started to shift. Like, okay, we're good. We're kind of good. We're not good. Right? It's like as soon as that momentum shifts, I start playing defense and I start cutting, I start locking in wins, and I start going the other way. Because again, doesn't mean it can't go up. It's just, how long is it going to take to go up? And you don't have time on your side when you're buying options that expire in 6 hours. Yeah, I'm really happy we went ahead and exited those day trade calls when we did. So understanding price action, understanding what to look at is going to be the foundation and key in your trading. If you don't understand these things, it doesn't matter what strategy or style you trade. If you want to learn how to trade successfully, come check us out over at Real Life Trading. You can actually trade live with us for free for 7 days. That's the deal we have running on right now. And so check out the links down below to take advantage of that. Love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.